So we ended with the previous line, which was about the trumpets of godhood, the music, the voice of music sings, this kind of call back to this heroic time of sort of romantic ideals from out of the ship in Helmaround and that kind of war wound, or that broken world. And we've got this lost in the darkness, so these kind of ideals roaming around, louder and nearer, triumphant wings, trying to rise with a mighty shout. So I've got a figure of Gaelic mythology, Tristan, and nobody hears. So we've got that lingering cry of nobody hears. We go on to the "O Silent Night, Dark Beach," which is this strong image of a silent night, dark beach. So it's very, sort of isolated, shut away from anything. And you've got this O, which is kind of this appeal. I think it's called an apostrophe. Drowning like lovers, each in each. Uncharged thy musky boughs unbend, thy mouths of air and give them speech. So it's kind of the word thy is reminding us of this kind of older world. Then, like a nest of thieves, the golden tattling leaves. So tattling, kind of like lying. Tattler is someone who tells on someone. Thieves will sell their mask for bravos love, or cry their fruit to stranger eves. So this sense of maybe this new world will give away anything. It sells itself to stranger eves, to people who are going to betray them, entice them and betray them. And voices ride, and you've got the kind of the connecting sequence order words of a conversation here. You've got and, by, of, so, and some alliteration, ride, field, unsealed, tide. So the rhyme scheme changes. I saw this next stanza: with love we put the planets out, with kissing drown the bells, and struck the clambering moon to ice. Now we shall sleep and hide. This kind of sense of denial, of ignoring things that have happened and burying oneself in old kind of ideals. That's how I saw it anyway. I think that then it moves into the next stanza, which is: in the pans of straw-coned country, this river is the solitary traveller. So you've got this kind of isolation, this sense of this desolate landscape. There's not many. There's a lot of sunlight, but it's empty, it's solitary, and it's got this spare, simple, restrained language. We'll move on to the next bit. Nothing, the sun is as white as moonlight. Wind has buffeted the flat grasses long, long ago, but now there is nothing. Wind gone and men gone, only the water. So you've got this sense of, sort of drained of life and colour. Everything's gone. There's none to disturb. The sense of like kind of water beginning to come back in, which we know is one of Slessor's ways of showing things being washed away, and nothing but fields with roots gone rotten because of the water, maybe, or because of these ideas. So you've got this landscape being used as an elaborate metaphor for emptiness, loneliness, isolation, and perhaps ideologically as this kind of wasteland, maybe after the war. I'm not sure when this poem was written. In and out of the country. And then it makes this sudden kind of dramatic lurch, which is kind of classic of him to, he moves the pace forward. And, that you've got the last line of, only the river remains with its water and droughts will come. This kind of prophetic foreshadowing of things getting worse. And then he's got this kind of hysterical sort of carnival. In and out the country folk, the carriages and carnival. Pastry cooks in all directions push to bar to their confections. The rhythm changes, it becomes alive. You could almost see the colour and the movement. Trays of little gilded cakes, caramel is in painted flakes. It's got a real sensory overload in that. It's got these really strong images, smells, the rhythm, even trays of little gilded cakes, caramels in painted flakes. It sort of trots along. You've got lots of alliteration. It's a feast for the senses, literary kind of speaking, as well as through all of this. You've got cacophony of sort of sounds and smells. You've got it's being compared to being like an impressionist painting with all of these kind of, it's almost like capturing the energy of a moment. I kind of thought, and you've got this fixed rhyme scheme, the crying, flying, braces, faces, scream, steam. So it keeps that rigor, keeps that sense of conviction, that formula, that formulaic authority, perhaps the cleverness of it. But at the same time, I find it disturbing. Dogs are worming, sniffing, squirming. Organs cough their coloured steam out. It seems to be turning for me. It's almost like a bad dream starting to become lurid. It's screaming seems a bit kind of off-key. The whistles scream, trumpets gleam, pneumatic faces. They're not really faces that I don't necessarily want to see around me. Drowned bassoons and wagon jacks. It just seems like this whole notion of fakery, which is echoed from that previous stanza, which was all about, the eaves and selling out. This seems to be like that. Buy, buy, buy. And what is being sold is kind of this fakery. It seems cynical to me, this kind of, you've got crying, flying, this kind of terror. It seems off balance, I've put. It seems too vivid, fever pitch, and a bit jarring. On the next page, just takes us up to the last bit that we need to know for the exam, and that is this: gently the doctor of magic mutters, opens his puppet stall, pulls back the painted shutters. So this sense that it's all a show, it's a sham, it's an elaborate performance, ruffles the golden lace. Ha! The crowd flutters, reddened and sharp and small, oh Petrushka's face. So the Petrushka is a clown, a joker, a trickster, not real, and is a puppet of this doctor of magic. So wonder, who is the doctor of magic pulling all the strings? This kind of charlatan, if you like. We know that Petrushka is, even though he's a kind of a master of his craft, there was this sense that he was depressive, he was faking it all. So perhaps we could read this poem as being like a tragedy of the human spirit, about kind of a lost... the tragedy of the human spirit is the ballet that Petrushka is in. He has this kind of lost love that is killed and then is betrayed, and so that's the story of Petrushka, the ballet. Petrushka being the puppet that is in this poem that's referred to.